Hi guys, my name's Steph Prem, founder and director of Studio PP and your Medibank Live Better Health Ambassador. Today we're back in the kitchen and we are making some fun festive recipes or some healthy alternatives on some of your favourite Christmas recipes. Today I'll be making a kid-friendly rum ball, or a healthy take on the traditional rum ball, sans the rum. It's really easy, it's gluten-free, it's healthy, it takes about 10 minutes to make, and you can get about 24 balls out of this recipe, which is a fantastic healthy alternative to have in the fridge or the freezer whilst entertaining over the Christmas period. Today you will need a cup and a half of almonds. I've also got 2 tablespoons of chia seeds. I've got about 1/4 cup of peanut butter. I love peanut butter and the texture that it adds to this recipe, but of course it's optional if you don't like it. We've got a 3/4 cup of sultanas. We've also got 2 tablespoons of maple syrup, a tablespoon of vanilla essence or just a dash of vanilla essence, a cup of desiccated coconut and some extra for rolling, as well as some cacao and ground cinnamon, about a tablespoon of each, and then some extra for rolling at the end. I'm also using a high-powered blender today. If you don't have a high-powered blender at home, I recommend just doing it in 2 batches. Sometimes that's a little bit easier. So simple. The trick, I always say, is to start with the almonds to make that almond meal. And the almond meal is what gives you that sort of texture of that traditional rum ball recipe. Obviously, we're making it without rum today. Rum essence is an additional ingredient that you can add to this recipe, but today we're trying to keep it kid-friendly and we want to try and keep the rum out of it if we can. But of course, if you're making it maybe as a gift or you're making an adult version, then of course you can add some rum essence also. So we're going to get that to a nice speed and just create our almond meal to begin. So by doing the dry ingredients first is a really good way to kick off the recipe and ensure that it's a lot easier to make the balls before serving them. We're throwing in a cup of coconut, which I'm now going to blend in also. And as you can see, just by doing it in small batches is a much better way of making them. Sometimes I find the blender can get a little bit overwhelmed with too many dry ingredients. And then you can start to add in your wet ingredients as you go. I can get a little free-handed with my ingredients, but obviously you can see the recipe is listed. So just a dash of vanilla essence, approximately 2 tablespoons of maple. And I am by no means a chef or professional cook. I'm just someone who really enjoys finding some healthy alternatives on some of our favorite recipes, and especially coming into this festive season. I think it's all about balance and really enjoying yourself, but also finding some nice, healthy ways to especially help out the kids, but also if you're entertaining, to offer some nice, healthy options to some of our favorite dishes as well. Again, you can get a little friendly with your ingredients. I think cinnamon is such a nice Christmas ingredient. Even the smell and the taste just reminds me of Christmas. I'm also a big chocolate fan, so it's meant to be 2 tablespoons of cacao, but you can add in a little bit extra if you are feeling friendly like I am today. So we've got all of that in there now. So hopefully it's going to work with us today and blend up all at once. You might need to use your extra tool if you have it at home, or like I said, do it in a couple of small batches. And you can see the texture starting to come up through the blender. That's what we want to find. We want to get it to a nice sort of wet texture without it being too runny, to make it a lot easier to bring it all together at the end. So give it a little check, see how it's come together. And you can also just use your spoon to ensure that you have made sure you've crushed all of those almonds. But by doing those dry ingredients first, like I said, is a really sort of quick way of bringing it all together. Now here is the fun part. We just need big tablespoons. You can be as generous as you like with how you serve. The traditional rum ball is a much smaller a much smaller shape, but I like to be a little bit more generous with mine. And the trick is to run your hands under some cold water. So just make sure your hands are a little bit moist, and then you can start to run your little rumbles together, and you'll see it just brings them together into a perfect little shape. My grandma taught me that trick when I was little, and it's stuck with me forever. And you can see that just brings that texture together quite quickly. So what you can also do in terms of serving is, as you can see, I've put half desiccated coconut and half cacao there. So you can choose, or you can do a little bit of both, and just covering them over, and you can do a combination. And the nice thing is, because you can get quite a big batch out of this recipe, so you should get approximately 24 rumbles out of this, or kid-friendly rumbles, is that by covering them or coating them in different ways, it looks like you've got multiple flavors. But also this recipe freezes really well. So you can pop it in the freezer and freeze them for up to 30 days. So I find, in terms of a little bit of portion distortion or managing some of that grinchy Christmas guilt, sometimes popping them in the freezer is a great way to ensure that you're not going to eat them all in one sitting. So you can see this recipe, I've done it in real time for you guys today. So it comes together so quickly and gives you a nice couple of batches for the kids' lunch boxes. They make great Christmas gifts. You can pop them in, some little mason jars and give them to your neighbours for Christmas. It's all about that holiday spirit this festive season. And like I said, it is all about balance. So I've made a couple of different shapes, sizes, and flavours for you guys to see there. And they've come together so easily. I hope you all have a healthy, safe, and wonderful Christmas. For more tips, tricks, and inspiration, check out the Live Better at Home platform and follow all our recipes on Instagram.